Hi everyone, and welcome again to my audio-visual channel. My name is Gabriela Handal. I am a draftsman and also the host of the show, A Conversation About Art. During each episode, I look for the meaning of art and beauty through conversations with colleagues in different artistic fields. Today, I bring you episode 89, and I will have this conversation with artist and craftsman Jamie Seel. If you'd like to support my channel, leaving a comment and sharing this video is incredibly helpful, and so is subscribing. These are all immediate and have no additional cost to you. If you'd like to support my channel with money, you can do so by purchasing my drawings directly from my website, buying things I make on eBay, buying prints of my drawings, or by leaving me a tip. These are all quite helpful in keeping this podcast and my artistic work going. The link for all of them are in the show notes, description, caption. Thank you very much for watching and or listening, and maybe even reading, because I have been adding subtitles, and enjoy the episode. Okay, Jamie Seel, welcome to my podcast, A Conversation About Art. You are episode 89. Please tell our listeners and viewers who you are and what you do.
My name is Jamie Seel, and I am the owner, designer, and maker, pretty much everything behind my brand, which is called Seel. And it's a leather goods company.
Okay, and what sort of stuff do you make?
So my primary focus is on handbags. I also make harnesses, wallets, bootstraps, general accessories, that kind of thing.
Chokers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How long have you been doing that?
So I've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years.
Okay, and how did you end up getting into that? Because the tools required to make that, not only from what I've seen on your Instagram when you post this type of stuff, the tools, the machines, not even tools, because they're not like handheld or anything. They're machines. They're big. They're probably expensive, and they also look dangerous. So it's like, what is kind of like, what is like the transition from wanting to do that and then learning to do it and then doing it, with like all your fingers and your,
Yeah. So I did go to college for fashion design. So I learned how to use regular industrial machines in school, but nothing as heavy duty as the leatherworking equipment. That sort of just evolved naturally over time. So when I started it, I didn't have an industrial machine. I just had it was a Juki home industrial hybrid machine that I forced to sew leather when it really shouldn't have. And I used primarily hand tools. And sort of as I learned the craft, I learned that I needed different machinery to make the tasks easier. And as I needed to up the scale of what I was making and what I could do, I sort of gathered a collection of machines along the way.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So as you were talking about this, it occurred to me that it's like, there must be like a hand, by hand variant, I guess, of the whole craft, and maybe that would kind of function as like the beginnings, because I have seen on YouTube people that make shoes just by hand, for example.
Yeah, that is wild. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I guess all right, give me a second. I want to ask you several things, and I might have to pick and choose. So because I'm a visual artist, I draw. And so, there's like this relationship between the analog and the machine, or, and like in the case of visual art is like, oh, I draw by hand, just pencil and paper, versus drawing with a tablet, or even further, drawing with the AI art generator, depending on how the person feels about that stuff. So then it's like, if you, did you ever do like the hand sewing of stuff at any point when you didn't have machines available?
I never did any hand sewing, but I did like hand set my rivets and hand install the hardware and that aspect of it. A lot of hand cutting. That's very strenuous on the wrists and the fingers and a lot of carpal tunnel.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And do you think, I mean, do you have curiosity? I mean, are you curious about the process, or like if you, do you wonder if you can make a handmade bag? Because, I figure, I guess there's like arguably some kind of like a uniformity in the results when you start using machine, when you can like cut all the shapes the same versus if you hand cut them, or
Mhm.
if you hand sew things, there's bound to be some kind of discrepancy between one person and the next person, for example.
Mhm.
Do you think, I don't know, what do you think about that? I don't know, what do you think about that difference between the result of things like that?
So, the difference in results, I would say when something is totally handmade, when it's hand cut and hand stitched and everything, you can definitely achieve a really high level of consistency and a high level of craftsmanship with that. There are makers out there who are just incredibly talented and are so good at what they do, and everything they do is 100% hand done by,
Mm,
stitching, cutting, everything. Um, and I have a lot of respect for that kind of craftsmanship. But for me, when I'm making something, I really like working with machines. There's sort of, it sounds kind of odd, but there's sort of like a relationship that you develop with the
oh, for
machine
sure.
where you're working it, you're using it, because every machine is kind of different as well. And that's, for me, it's a little more of an aesthetic choice. I do prefer machine stitches and machine set rivets and everything. It, for me and the way that I use things, it makes it a little bit like tighter and more uniform.
Mhm, 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 mhm. Yes. Yeah, I can totally see what you're saying about the relationship being formed between you, the person who is wielding the machine, because
Yeah.
like it's like a robot,
Yes. Kind
and yeah, and that's like, I mean, I'm a fool for that stuff. Like, I don't know anything about electricity. Like, I'm not sure that I'd be able to like make one or something, but I think they're cool. It's like I love the retro excavators, like the things they use in the streets.
Oh yeah.
To make, I don't know if that's what they're called. The thing with like the claw that like digs dirt out and like this. I
Yeah.
think those are so cool. Those are like really rudimentary mecha, from
Right.
the
Yeah.
anime and stuff. So it's like
That's
the
cool.
yeah, yeah. So like the stuff that the smaller machines that we use at home, like including the computer, the phone and this, they're like robots, and it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, Isaac Asimov. Okay, okay. So out of all the materials that there exist, why do you choose leather?
So, it started sort of by chance. Um, Way back, I wanted to do bridal wear, and I was making gowns and designing them, and
Wedding gowns?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I didn't really end up liking the industry very much. It's very one-time use.
Right,
Uh, it's kind of a throwaway industry because you have this beautiful elaborate gown you wear it once, and then that's kind of it.
right.
So I was looking to make some leather garters, and I wandered into a leather shop. And when I was there, I kind of started feeling the material and exploring the different kinds of leather that they had, and I really gained an appreciation for it. So I guess the longevity of it and the in certain kinds of leather, there's a lot of sustainability. And that really stood out to me. So the kind of leather that I use is vegetable tanned, which is made using, or it's cowhide, but it's tanned with tree barks and fats and oils and all natural materials.
Nice.
So it's not full of harmful chemicals like some chrome tan leather are. So when it does decompose eventually, and it will, it turns into essentially just compost at the end of its
Oh.
natural life cycle, and it doesn't, contribute to the landfills in the way that like a PVC or faux leather would.
Yes, yes, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's awesome. I have had contact with leather throughout my, I'm a big fan of leather. Um, and I'm pretty lucky that my dad has always had like leather wallets or leather belts or leather, not a wallet, it's like a bigger thing with like a zipper where you can put your passport and whatever, this type of stuff, or just any kind of leather, yeah, any kind of leather accessory, and it's just the way it smells and like the suede bit inside that's like soft, and the way that it ages,
Yeah.
and it just like you can basically wear that your whole life because it's gonna outlive you, you
Mhm.
know and
Yeah.
and it's and it's like, if you pair that, because I think that kind of almost by default makes leather better than basically any other material, like almost regardless of the procedence and of the treatment. But it's like if you pair that with what you were saying of leathers that are treated with the vegetable stuff and stuff, I mean, I'm sure that is probably also more positive for the material itself somehow.
Mhm.
I don't know the chemistry, but it's like, I don't know. It's like how can anyone beat that level of quality? I don't
Right.
I don't see how,
Yeah. Pretty much.
because for sure I purchased one faux leather vest thing because I liked the vest itself, and it was a big mistake because it just became trash in like 3 years. It's like,
Yeah, me too.
and I mean, it's not I of course I didn't expect it to behave the same way as leather because we know there's no equal, but I was like, wow, at least 5, 10, something. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I had a similar experience with a faux leather jacket that I got, and because they're just monumentally cheaper than real leather
Right.
jackets. So I had it, and it just they flake and they fall apart, and yeah, it's terrible. And they also the like different types of plastic that make up faux leather will start to melt over time. So it's
Yeah.
like like the sticky vinyl
Yeah, if you're
effect.
like in a hot state or a country, it's like probably.
Yeah. And even just the like time itself, it starts to like decompose and release some of the chemicals that are in it, and it just gets sticky and nasty.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that vest that I got, the last time that I wore it, that I had to just throw it away because it was just disintegrating.
Yeah.
I because I was wearing spiky type stuff on my pockets, and it just tore everything. And like, but even in the parts where I didn't have, it was just like my armpits, like around the arm. It was just
Yep.
like, it
hmm
was just like, I was like, oh my God, I hate this. I hate everything. This is terrible. Okay. So, all right. So I'm curious about how did you end up in, no, not how did you end up, choose, why did you end up choosing uh, to focus on purses and bags out of, all the accessories that I guess one can choose from if you're going to design accessories? So why do you like them a lot, or?
So the funny thing is that I was never like a handbag person. Like I would get one and I would wear it and use it every single day until it like fell apart. And then I
Okay.
would get another one, do the same thing with it. But the process of creation for me is more pattern making is my favorite aspect of it, and
Mm,
the pattern ideology that goes behind making a handbag makes a lot of sense to me because they're essentially just like really elaborate boxes.
uh-huh.
And it's yeah, I guess it was just the most enjoyable thing that I could make a pattern for. The shape manipulation of going from the 2D piece of leather to like the 3D bag is just it's a fascinating process, and I really enjoy it.
Okay. So that process of designing the bag in paper, via the patterns. I mean, the patterns I figure are similar to the patterns of clothes, where you kind of have like these dotted lines and kind of like the flat. I don't really know.
Pretty much. So it's it's like a basically just like a flat shape. You know, some of the pieces are rectangles, some of them are, you know, funny looking. But it's that, and then in certain portions of it, depending on the construction of the bag itself, you'll have the seam allowance, which is the dotted portion on the side. So it
Yes.
does, appearance wise, it would look relatively similar to like a clothing pattern. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can see the appeal in, because it's a really big problem, or I mean, it's a really long, not, I don't want to make it sound negative. I'm just saying that it's like problem solving
Mhm.
and puzzles, but more like a puzzle solving. Because like
Yeah.
first, if you have like the idea for the bag, I guess, and then you're
Mhm.
like, okay, what does the pattern look like? And then you have to like solve all of these issues on the pattern, you know, like
Yeah.
where to sew, and you know, the seam allowance that you're talking about. It's funny because like I hand sew a little bit, like sometimes I mend clothes and stuff like that. I haven't made anything from scratch, but I have heard the term seam allowance, and it like totally just it like totally confuses me. And then like translating that to the bag, well, not even the bag itself, because you still have to cut out the leather
Mhm.
and then sew the leather. Is it like scary when you sew the first bag from the design? Because you're like, oh, I mean, you know, wait. So does that ever happen that you like you make the pattern on your drawings, then you cut out your leathers and you're putting it together, and then you're like, oh, I had to do this thing different. I mean, does that happen?
Yes, it does. Less than it used to because I've been sort of doing this for a little while now. So
Right.
it's more, I guess I have my own processes worked out to the point where I have some pretty standard things that I do. Like my construction methods that I've worked out are they're fairly consistent with each other. So I know generically if I'm going to make, say, like a tote style bag, I know that I need to sew certain seams before others. So I can anticipate it. Or like what I do is usually I'll make it in my head like a lot of different times and think about it
Oh,
like to death
yeah.
and finally make it. And usually it will turn out pretty well the first time. Not like a sellable item, but sometimes I usually keep it for myself. But most of the time, unless I'm trying a totally new method that I've been thinking about for a while, like that's more exploratory, and I'll usually try it on like a little piece before instead of on the whole bag. So when I have the new method worked out, I can apply it to the new bag. But even in regular production, I'll still definitely like make mistakes and ruin bags and yeah, either have them on sample sale or just keep them for myself.
Yeah. Oh wow. So now you have lots of bags,
Yeah, I
right?
do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you know, that part, like when you were like, I'm not a bag person. It's like I'm not a bag person either. It's like I remember when I was younger, there was like the teeny tiny purses that they were like right under your armpit when you put them in,
Yes.
and I was like,
Yeah, they're like really small.
yeah. And
They're
I was
so bad
like,
actually.
yeah, I was like, that little teeny tiny bag is useless. It's like, what can you put? It's like your cell phone fits in there, and then that's it, probably, you know.
Mhm.
And I was like amused by that, and but you know, now that I'm a little bit older, and I'm like totally leaning into that, like, oh my god, I want to be girly and like, you know, put makeup on, and I totally want bags now. Some sorts of bags, you know, and it's like, yeah, but then there's still like the practical aspect of like, okay, how much stuff is gonna fit in there?
Mhm.
It's like if it's like I shave it down into like the essential stuff that I need if I'm gonna go anywhere, like, you know, like the phone, so that I can, if I have to make a call or something, the keys, some money, the cards, this
Yep.
type of stuff, you know.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
one of the hard things to design around too is that the sizes of phones keep getting bigger and bigger.
yeah,
So
it's like
when I
tablets
had,
now.
yeah, when I had pockets designed to fit like an iPhone 7 or 8 or whatever it was at the time, it was
Yeah,
like, know, this is my pocket size, and I'll design the bags around that and know what fits where. And then it's like, oh my God, the new sizes are what? Like, what's a plus size phone like that? That doesn't make any sense. So that's been a challenge. They've kind of leveled out now. It's like, you know, the human hand is only so large.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, because I don't know what iPhone we're up to now, but it's, I mean, it's ridiculous because like not just because of what you said of the hand. It's like we can only, even people with big hands can only hold so much. But it's like you're getting up to the threshold where it's a tablet, and it's just like you need to calm down with those phones. It's like, all right, let's stop. Let's cease and desist. Okay, so I'd like it if you talked to me a little bit about kind of like, you know, like the aesthetic of the work of your bags and accessories that you make, because you know, they have spikes and they have fire, and you know, not, it's leather, and you make chokers and like this type of stuff. So yes, tell me a little bit about you putting like this flavor into your designs and making things like that.
Yeah. So I grew up in the like very early 2000s, and where it was Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance. I was very into that. And as time passed and as I got older and started to try to find like accessories that would more or less fit my style, it was difficult without it just being something that was like a really cheaply made, poor quality item from like
Hot Topic.
Whatever. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, cool, but this is gonna fall apart, and like, you know, I don't want something like that. So I sort of decided to put it into my aesthetic of the things that I was making. So it was sort of a cool object where you could just wear a hoodie and this really cool bag, and you had a look. So that bag could translate to any outfit you wore, instead of just having, say, like one cool shirt or one cool coat. You could have your bag that went with every single outfit, and it added a little bit of like flair to it.
Yes, okay. That's really good because I mean, I think one of the really important things about us who make things is for us to like what we make. So it makes a lot of sense that it would have your aesthetic flavor. That's really like, what better reason to you know, to make it that way? Because also, I mean, I'm sure, you know, because some, you know, on in Instagram, when you post about like sale type stuff, it's like, not that I don't know your sales statistics or something, but it's like, you're like, you know, oh, like on your website things are sold out, for example, and it's like, I think it's just that I think like that gusto for, it's like you would wear all of the bags and all of the things that you have made. So like you have like this taste for them, this love for them, and that I mean, it translates, they look that way. And so that for sure makes for good sales, you know?
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. Some things are, you know, some styles that I've come out with have sold surprisingly better or worse than I thought they would.
Interesting.
But a lot of it kind of has to do, as I'm noticing, as I'm looking back through patterns and everything, because I've been working really hard lately to hone in my style of like marketing. And, you know, fixing my website and just kind of streamlining things and making sure that everything presents a cohesive message.
Right.
Is very difficult to do, and to make like images on Instagram all the time that look the same, or that look cohesive enough to make sense to the consumer. So one thing that I have noticed that has stood out to me is that if it's a specific design that's new, that I'm personally really excited about, it almost always does a lot better than something that I make because I need to fill a niche of a product. So my own excitement, I think, shows through in the way that I talk about it, and it gets other people excited about it too. So that's something that's kind of been brought to my attention recently. But yeah, certain styles of bags were just kind of flops, and I only sold a couple of them. But it's all learning process. So, I'm always trying new things, and some are a lot more popular than I thought they would be, and vice versa.
Okay. Okay. Miss Seel, what is art in your opinion?
That is a big question.
Yeah.
I would say art, in my opinion, is something that a person creates that um, answers some sort of a question that they had or expresses a feeling that they had.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, yes. Okay, so I mean, of course, this relates to what you do because you're an artist for sure. Um, and in the past, I think I read somewhere or heard somewhere, I don't know what, that art and craft were the same thing. Um, the point being that, when, us, modern type people, when, or contemporary people that are alive now, when we think of craft, we think of, oh, the pottery and making bags and making shoes, making accessories and this type of stuff. And I don't really understand why it's strictly separated from art, because I also think it's like that is also what I think is an integral part of a work of art, whether it's fine art that goes in a gallery and then gets sold, or if you're just in your studio making a painting or whatever it is, and then it gets sold there or doesn't or whatever. It's like it still requires thoughtful making with your hands of
Yeah,
something.
yeah, definitely.
So, um, so what do you think? I mean, based on what you said, what is art in your opinion? Because you said it answers a question. You said it answers a question. It's the answer to a question.
Yeah, I would say that it is something that someone creates that either expresses an emotion or answers a question that they had, perhaps, or question is maybe not the right word, but um maybe like an inquiry. Like, so if you look to create something, if that's your goal, is to make a thing, whether it's a drawing, a painting, a piece of pottery or a bag or whatever, say the question is a sort of what if type situation. Say, what if I took these two things and put them together? Or what if I made um, a bag that looked like a heart, to make, I don't know, make it like something that I've done recently. Um, yeah, I think it's sort of a um my words are failing me. So it's like a problem and a solution.
Yes, I was just thinking about that. That it's kind of like the question and the answer.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. Um, I like that a lot because okay, so because like so the object, the resulting object is the question that. All right, give me a second. All right, give me a second. So if you're like, what if I made a heart-shaped bag? Like you have two. So there's one. There's the heartbreaker, the clutch, and there's the other one that's like thicker with the spikies, right?
Yep. So
Um,
like bag style and then the flat clutch.
yes. Oh, they're both heartbreaker, right?
hmm
Yeah. Okay. Those are so cool. The right. So then the question is, what if I made a heart-shaped bag? And then yeah, that's just like thinking of the, I mean, I'm just trying to kind of like draw a parallel. I guess, so that I can understand better.
Yeah.
Like between, you know, like drawing, which is like, again, that's what I do. So it's like, I think I would like to see something with my own eyes, because that's like another, I'm sure that's another thing for you. Probably you like think of a bag, but you're seeing it in your mind's eye. You're not seeing the physical object.
Yeah.
So then, you know, you think of it, it's just an idea when you're just thinking about it. And then like the procedure, like the path to the solidification of that idea, it's like, you know, in your case, it's like, oh, the patterns, the cutting of the leathers and the sewing them, and then you have like the finalized product, and that's the answer to the thought that you had at first.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. Okay, I like that a lot. Yes. Okay, and all right, give me a second. And why do you do that? I guess because I have asked myself the question, and I don't really have a reason other than just I urge to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I would say the same thing. There's sort of like an itch there. Like there's an urge or an impulse or something that just it needs to happen, you know. And then
Yes.
once you do it, even though like usually at least the process of making a new bag or whatever can be incredibly frustrating throughout the whole way, then it's done and you're like, oh, this is so great. And
Yeah.
then, you know, the artist cycle where you think it's great and then it's like, no, I hate it. It's terrible. And then it's like you sleep on it and then it's like, yeah, no, that is great.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, yeah. So you see it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess I personally, I guess I feel, because yeah, you know, I'm sure, you know, it might be similar for you. It's like, of course I'm capable of doing other things. I've had jobs, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it is that sitting down and drawing and problem, and that it's like problem solving in that specific, under those specific circumstances, is just it's just the best.
Yeah.
And not even necessarily because, you know, you could, you know, I used to work in a call center. I would make calls to people to sell cards, and then I was in customer service and this type of stuff. And I mean, of course, we're all perfectly capable of doing many more things than that which we like to do, but, and you know, that also has its problem solving and figuring out a thing. It also has frustration.
Yeah.
And just I hate this, and sometimes, oh, it's not so bad, you know, oh, it's actually good, you know. It's like it also has those things, but then it's like, I guess, I mean, I've been thinking about it for a little while, about, you know, about what is the reason that we choose, not even, I don't know, is it a choice? I don't know if it's a choice.
It
that,
doesn't
you know,
like it is.
yeah, it doesn't feel like it's a choice necessarily. Yeah. Cause yeah, like if I go a few days, or for whatever reason that I'm unable to draw, or like, for example, recently I had a really mysterious injury in my shoulder. I mean, I didn't fall or anything. It just started hurting and then it stopped.
Of course.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't really know what happened, but I couldn't do much of anything other than sit there and be like, wow, this hurts a lot. I couldn't do anything. And I was like, I was feeling pretty bad because I couldn't draw because I couldn't do anything because it hurt. But then I was like, I really hope this doesn't interfere with being able to draw in the future. Like, I hope it calms down, you know, this type of stuff. Like, it's like, how is this going to affect my drawing? You know?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to think about it a little bit more to see if I can, because, you know, I don't like the answers that are, oh, it's genetics. I don't like that. I don't like that type of answer, because like, or not answer, but proposal, I guess, because it kind of feels like a cop out a little bit in a way, because it's easier to be like, oh, it's genetic. Yeah, that's easier, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then, Miss Seel, what is beauty in your opinion?
I would say that beauty is um it's just whatever any certain person looks at that makes them feel a certain way. Like you look at something and it makes you feel good, like, ooh, yes, that looks good. Like that's I would say that's beauty.
Okay, I'm just taking a note. Okay, so then beauty, in your opinion, I mean, as far as you're concerned, is associated with that positive feeling of it
Yeah.
feels good, it feels pleasurable, it's satisfying to look at.
Yeah, I would
Oh,
say so.
okay. And okay, I like about your answer that the that it's about the sensation of it, like the resulting sensation of the experience, rather than because I've been just relentlessly whining about when somebody says beauty is in the eye of the beholder. For example, I hate that answer. I mean, I try not to be a little shit about it when somebody says it, because I mean, that's not the point of the podcast, obviously. But um, and of course, that has a degree of truth and everything. And I think there's a smidge of that in what you said. But the thing is that it isn't strictly about what the person is looking at, but rather about the sensation is that's produced within.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yes, I like that a lot. So I mean, so would you say that as long as the resulting sensation and the resulting experience is a positive one, then it's uh it could be classified as the experience of beauty?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And so then would you say that you try to make the objects that you make, whether the bags, or I guess mainly the bags because it's the main thing that you focus on, but all the objects that you make, do you are you thinking about beauty or the way that you described it?
I would say so. And in the process of pattern making and bag design, for me at least, uh, it's very closely tied with proportions.
Mm.
So the specific proportions of like the size of hardware to the size of the strap to the piece of the bag that it's on, the angles that the bag has and the generic shape, a lot of like the ratios of it, um, make for something that feels good to look at
Mm-hmm.
in bag design. So there are a couple of pieces that I have that aren't, you know, at least for me, they look good. I like them. They serve a good purpose, but I haven't quite like there's something maybe a little bit off about it, or it doesn't have this like golden ratio appearance that some of the other ones do. Like um my favorite bag is the Little Palace, and
Uh-huh.
just the proportions that it has and the shape and everything is just like, you know like it looks nice to look at. Some of the other ones don't necessarily make me feel that way, but that one specifically is like, yeah, these proportions are right. So I
Yes.
think that's more or less what it is, in terms of bag design for me.
Yes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I definitely think there's something about proportions. And I thought it was interesting when you brought up the term proportions because so I draw the figure. So like for the figure, obviously we have like human proportions.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it didn't even occur to me that proportions could apply to objects or
Right.
bags, right? So that's really cool to find kind of to like have another parallel that way because that makes a lot of sense. Because it's like you have your bag and then the metal those are the rivets, right? Is it the like the domey flat circles?
Yep.
Yeah.
Those,
So like the what? Sorry.
Yeah, those are rivets.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, and like the buckles and this type of stuff, it makes a lot of sense that you would be, when you're designing the object and when you look at it when it's done, that you would be but I mean both consciously and unconsciously, I guess in a way, kind of like judging sort of in a way whether they look right or not. And because I think that's another thing I don't know whether it's by choice, like why we make art, because I think there's definitely something to the proportions that are present all around us in nature. And I think that's part of what influences us when we're trying to, make bags or make drawings or, decorate a bedroom or whatever it is, put paintings and, colors and all this stuff. And I definitely think there's something there's because we're empirical humans, we're empirical, we like all of our output is based on on some kind of input. So yeah, what do you think about that? Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah, okay, yes, okay. Okay, so all right, so okay, so I think that's cool. Miss Seel, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to me, because I'm aware that you're a busy individual. Like I can't imagine, just making bags. I don't know how long. All right, so wait, I have another question. How long does a bag, like, okay, how long does not the clutch, but the other, like the purse heartbreaker take you, for example, to make one?
That one is actually pretty quick. It's one of the most simple bags that I have. So that takes about, and I always have to I have to filter the first answer I was going to give and almost double it because that's the true answer. I always think, oh yeah, hour and a half, 2 hours tops. And it's like, no, it's about 4. So
Interesting.
3 to 4 hours.
Okay. I mean, are you able to make a bag from beginning to end just nonstop?
Yes. There are times, so I use edge paint. And most of the bags have like a special order that they can be completed in that, while one edge paint piece is drying, I can work on the other pieces that need to be done and sort of keep it rolling that way. But yeah, there are certain portions need to dry, but it can be done pretty much start to finish.
Okay. So then, even if it's 4 hours, you could arguably make 2 of those bags in one day.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that doesn't include, the pattern making process.
Yes, that takes the longest.
Okay. Yes. Because, I struggle to say how long a drawing takes me because I don't work. I mean, I'm able to work on a drawing maybe 4 hours a day, including breaks. And then if I'm not able to work on the drawing for 4 days because I'm housewifing or something, it's like, I don't know how long it took.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how long the on time was, I don't have, I should probably do that, but I don't know. Anyway, I feel that little dilemma is like an interesting and annoying one. And
yeah.
I guess once you have your pattern, then it's like you just have to cut the things and sew them up. And I mean, I'm ignorant of the procedure and I'm probably oversimplifying, but
no, not so much. I mean, once the pattern's figured out and everything, and I have the order of things down really well, it's pretty much just like a cut and sew and finish situation. It's pretty easy compared to like the problem solving aspects.
Okay. Well, all right. So, all right. Now I think we're done. Thank you very much, Jamie, for joining me. Is there anything that you would like to add? Where can your lovely bags and purses and accessories be found? Do you have any projects? Anything that you're excited about? Anything that you want to plug?
Yes. So my website is seelmade.com, SEEL made.com. And that's also my Instagram handle. Seel Made is my Instagram and TikTok handle.
Oh, you have TikTok. Okay.
Yeah, I do, but I don't post a lot, so it's it just exists. Um, but yeah, so something exciting coming up is I'm going to do a soft rebrand in the next year. And I'm going to develop a few different new bags that are more advanced than my current ones are in their construction process and details that they'll have. So a little bit of a level up. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yes, that sounds cool. It's like a challenge to yourself in a way.
Yeah.
It's, you know what it makes me think of when I have to deal with something difficult and I'm like, all right, this must mean I leveled up. So,
I'm definitely feeling that. I like that.
yeah, for sure. Because it's like, I mean, it just, you know, the unfamiliarity doesn't mean that you're perfectly capable. I mean, it's like you're obviously perfectly capable of doing it. And that's really cool. That sounds exciting. Because I quite enjoy not just the finished products themselves, but the videos that you post of you making them. And sometimes you put the ones with sound of like the machine going like chuk chuk and that stuff. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
So yeah, very, very enjoyable. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to start to close it out. Thank you, Jamie, for joining me, your time, your words, and your thoughts. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Feel free to let Jamie and I know what you think of this conversation in the comments. I encourage you to like this video and share it with any and all pertinent individuals, as it helps the channel, and this way more people can listen to these interviews. Finally, I invite you to subscribe to my audiovisual channel because I have more conversations scheduled. If you want to support Jamie, myself, this podcast, or all three, the links will be in the show notes. Thank you, everyone, very much, and see you next time. Bye.